For this video I am continuing my mini-series where I am trying Prankster Mage and all of the different like classes and color combos that you can run it in. This time around we're just going to try it in Assassin. Plain old Assassin. It is an Assassin card after all. So we're going to try it in Mono Blue Assassin. Now, I don't necessarily think this is the best way to build mid Assassin right now, but I've got some weird OCD thing, and deep down I just like running Mono Blue for some reason. It just makes me happy knowing I can play Cunning Ally and always get a Firebolt. So this is the world that we live in. This is the version that I'm going to run for this video. As always, deck code will be in the video description. This is entirely viable. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think this is a bad deck. I just think that there's probably better ways to do mid-assassin than just straight mono blue for the memes. But again, this is what I'm going to go with. We're going totally blue. So blue that I named the deck, I don't know if you were paying attention, but I named the deck Sub-Zero because we are the blue assassin. Alright, there is no get over here going on in this video. We are the blue one. But it's kind of misleading because you'd think Sub-Zero, maybe I'm running Winter's Grasp or Ice Storm. No, none of those things. It's just a Mortal Kombat reference. This is a deck testing format video though, so we are going to play 2 games, win or lose. We hope for more wins than losses, or at least a 1-1. Right out of the gate we get matched up against Telvanni. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell Vanni, but we're going to try to tell him nonetheless. Keeping the lesser ward is questionable, but the rest is fine here, and we get rewarded for my risky keep by finding a Manic Jack. Manic Jack is fantastic with lesser ward because you can play him on curve and still get that 4/4 ward.
Do your worst.
Probably shouldn't be loading up field here. Traditionally against Telvanni, you actually kind of want control of the shadow lane because of Viper. But we're going to start here and then transition over there with our Manic Jack. So we're going to go and do this, and we are going to slap this first ward here, mostly to protect him against Lightning Bolt. Now we could still get hit with Negation.
Are you listening to me?
Therana. Well, they snapped that Therana too. Wow. Alright, a number of different things that we could do here. I really like the idea of developing either Daggerfall or Manic Jack. Daggerfall makes the most sense to me just because it's another card that potentially survives Ice Storm. And if we are going to do that, then we likely want to Steel Dagger our Manic Jack to push extra damage here. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to swing with this first just to dodge Harpy issues.
I'll get this yet.
And then we'll go ahead and develop the Daggerfall. Because again, with the ring, they could theoretically play Ice Storm here. And we want some resilient threats on the board to dodge it.
Careful there, friend.
Oh, they went all in and denying me over there, huh? Abner has the potential to be really strong post-Conjurer. Now, here we have yet another interesting dilemma because we've got these Manic Mutations in hand, but I don't think that, even though it's technically 2 extra damage if I slap him here, I don't think that's the case. I think we want to use one of them and then save the other one for Manic Jack here. Though we could slap both on him and hope for charge. Like, that's also entirely reasonable.
Don't underestimate me.
I actually think that's what I would prefer to do here. Let's go ahead and get these attacks in.
Behold,
this gives us 2 cracks at charge. We did not get it. But this is also now big enough that it will survive Ice Storm as well. Now, it's never a good sign, just for the record, when your opponent shackles Daggerfall and not the Manic Jack. That means they 100% have the answer. So there is the Viper. So, you know, moderately annoying, but not the end of the world here. Of course, now we draw Rootbender, which would have been great for those mutation plays.
Let's do
but
the fish stick.
interesting dilemma we have now. We could swing for 5 and develop Conjurer. Or we could swing for 6 by developing Abner, copying Wardcrafter onto this. That would still eat 2 of these creatures, but also leave us with the Abner and the Daggerfall as well. Conjurer, like, let's be honest, this is not going to survive for us to Abner it anyway, so I actually think this ends up being the better play.
Not be on the wrong side of this.
Like, normally you want to play Elfique into Abner, hoping that your 3/3 survives, but with this board, that's just never going to happen. There's also a pretty strong benefit in a deck like ours to getting them down to 4 specifically. Simply because 4 is Lightning Bolt range, and they don't know that we're not running Cliff Racer, so it becomes relevant in that regard as well. Okay. So they go ahead and they take the full clear.
Khajiit will keep you safe.
Yeah. I think we go with this. The other option was we could theoretically take the attempt with Mighty Conjuring. But we can do that anyway. We might as well do the thing that creates multiple bodies, but if we got the 7/5 in the Shadow Lane, that's a pretty big win for us there as well. But really, we're just dodging them gaining health. Like, more than anything, that's what we need, is them to not gain health.
Surrender or die. The Hist provides.
Alright. I mean, we take this before we make the trade, just to continue our attempts at pressure, though this is very likely going to be removed. That gets rid of the ward, you get the double trade. Not much we can do. Still have multiple bodies that we can toss over there. But this is a problem, because when this gets to 3, this will likely find a Blackhand Messenger, so
Khajiit doesn't need to be followed.
that is yet another thing that we're concerned about. This next turn also opens up the possibility of conscription for them. But we're just hunting for Lightning Bolt or Incarno. So we have 4 cards that we could top deck right now that would allow us to just win.
Surrender. Khajiit doesn't need to be followed. Mother of
That is not.
By the 8th, they will meet their
That's such a thing.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
Pretty. Even though we like lose to Ice Storm here, I'm pretty tempted to Firebolt this to prevent them silencing it. But I think it's incorrect. If I could play the Tome immediately, then I would do it in a heartbeat. But with us exactly at 4 Magicka, I think you have to pass there. I don't think letting them be able to easily wipe is beneficial. Alright, well, I was partially right. At 3, they did not find Blackhand Messenger. They did, however, find a bat. And that becomes even more problematic. It's also making me very thankful that we saved that Firebolt.
They call me the Bandit King.
But we're still looking for burst damage. Obviously, Incarno off the top gets it done. Mummify. Well, that denies our tome. And this will likely shackle something, if I had to guess. Bit of a bummer that we're seeing this Necromancer. Because they have to know
The Black Hand sees
that I'm going to Firebolt this bat. So this means they likely have a backup Necromancer. But maybe not. I mean, this is going to gain cover anyway, so... I mean, theoretically, once the ward pops... Again, just hunting for burst. All of our options still in play. When I say all of our options, I mean all 3 lightning bolts and Unkano. Theoretically, oh well, that's a bit of an issue. Theoretically, we still have a Manic Jack that might be able to get charge. Ooh.
Everything was taken from me. Today,
Now that's
I
cheeky.
repay in kind.
Alright, now that is also a bit of an issue.
I lurk in the shadows.
Now they're just gonna cycle through so many cards now. We need them to not find life gain.
I do not fear.
Alright.
They best not anger me.
Well, I mean, at least we get rid of that. Then we lose this. So this is 1 turn away from hitting at 3, which again is an issue. They also are likely going to hit Necromancer here, which is 100% an issue because that's another bat.
I speak the voice of the Night Mother.
And as I said, they will hit the bat. So again, we are just looking for that top deck. 1 time. No. So you can see where this is clearly a game where we're going to lose it, but we had lots of outs. So sometimes that happens, gang. Sometimes you do everything right, and you do still end up losing. Bit of a shame, really. We needed some form of reach, but we did not find it. My son's trying to get my attention, but he doesn't realize that I'm busy. Hey, look, they have lightning bolts. Oh, this is gonna be the biggest slap in the face if I roll charge here.
Behold, my magnificent monster.
Would have been the biggest slap in the face. I mean, I guess it would have allowed us to at least get rid of the bat, but well, of course they just got infinite mummifies and ice storms and everything else at this point. More lightning bolts. Sure, why not? I don't think that we actually have an out anymore. Them rolling this off of the Spymaster also kind of created a bit of an issue. They gave up the Odiving, huh?
Here you've been looking for me.
I mean, they basically had lethal if they left the Odiving. But maybe they just want to keep gaining more health. I don't blame them. They have this insane engine rolling with Thorana and Speaker. But yeah, we've reached the point where I'm not sure that we have legitimate outs. Like, we would have to top deck Unkano to kill the bat and get some damage in, followed by lightning bolts. Like turn after turn after turn. I mean, if we're being technical, we're not out of it. We have all these runes. If they did try to push for lethal, we could hit all 3 lightning bolts. But the odds are pretty astronomical, and it'd have to be on these 3 because they will skip the last rune, so... Oh no, if that got drained life, that's also an issue. Okay.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
My friend would like a word.
Alright, so we're going field lane for a couple of reasons, but the big one is we don't want to open up any situation where they get to trade in with the Blood Magic Lord. Giving them more access to the ability to drain life is an issue. So right now we are just kind of forever stalling until we, again, maybe draw Uncano into double bolt or something silly.
A few drinks, a few...
Oh no, they made room!
What could be better?
We're almost halfway through our deck. This ending up in the field lane actually benefits us, so as long as they did not roll drain life, and I don't think they did or they would have used it. I mean, the good news is for us, they're just filling their deck with the actions from Theranos. Which means that they're getting that much further from actually drawing, like, win conditions. They're just... thievery, though. And we're still not drawing first. The amount of time that this game has given us to just draw ways to actually kill my opponent. There's the first bolt. Way too little, too late. Let's see. I mean, we still use it. You have to use it. But even if we hit 2 bolts now, they're outside of range, so... A smart opponent would realize that they can push here.
All souls belong to
There it is. Let's do this. Like, we could prevent more damage, but this is just going to draw them even more free actions. Because once things shuffle in with Thorana, Skulk finds them, so... Oof, and then they go and they gain more health. They're at 10, huh? Even if I top deck on Kano, it's 5, and then they win next turn. Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, we had outs. Again, we went through almost half of our deck before we found our first lightning bolt.
Murder.
Yeah. It's a good game. Like I said, sometimes you can do pretty much everything correct and still lose. It just happens. You draw the wrong half of your deck. We're going to go on to game 2 now. We're going to hope that it goes better. We're going to hope that if we get our opponent to 4, we don't draw dead for, I don't know, 5 or 10 additional turns. And now we are up against Dagoth, which is basically the better version of our deck. I think we keep 1 with the ring. It's questionable to keep the queen, because if we fall behind, she's great. You know what? We're going to keep that. We're just going to hope that we find... We get 2 draws, basically. This was one of them, right? Like, you get a draw off the mulligan and then a draw on your first turn to try to find that 2-drop that you can ring out. Well, it's not exactly the 2-drop that we were looking for, though. I'm not gonna tempo ring a conjurer. Now the game's just making fun of me. It's like, oh, hey, you wanted 2 drops? Here's 2 drops you don't want to play. Little concerned that they also didn't play anything, though. This might end up being either Control Dagoth or maybe even Dragons, in which case our slow start is going to be punishable. Might make us even worse.
Care to make a friendly wager?
I don't have a good answer for that right now. And we did not top deck 1.
I have you now.
I think we are going to just play Tempo Harpy here. They're going to draw a bunch of cards, but I think that Tempo Harpy allows us to keep pressuring, but I don't want to use a ring charge in this situation because I think that what we want to do ideally is play Conjurer with Exalt next turn into the second Conjurer off of our second ring charge.
I have your scent, and soon I'll have your blood.
Ugh. First rune, Prophecy.
All power flows.
Alright, we're certainly going to take this Exalt.
The light of the three.
I think we're going to save the ward for now. There is an argument to be made about maybe you kind of pre-ward, but it's more likely we will try to use this Atronach to trade and die just to get a buffed Conjurer, and then we'll use the Lesser Ward on our 3/3 for an additional blocker.
You bet on the
Prophecy
wrong
has
side.
certainly shifted the board in favor of
Even
our
the
opponent,
gods
so we're
won't
gonna
hear your
we're gonna be the ones
screams.
having to play defense. Now, drawing the Conjurer means saving the ward is even more relevant.
Come to die.
Even more relevant.
You are not worthy.
Die, sweet. Cause it will keep you safe.
Alright, so this is going to come down, and now we have that dilemma, right? Because, again, we could save this for our own Breton Conjurer, but we would force them to use, like, a Rapid Shot or something to peel the ward off, or break this ward, which I think is more important. So either make them use something, and then our backup the following turn is that we can play Firebolt to peel the ward off, but one way or the other, like, we're going to need to try to deal with the Hand of Dagoth.
You bet on the wrong side. I have your scent, and soon.
Alright, so they're going to bring this down to Shackle. That's overall okay, I think.
Have business with House Halalu.
I have you now.
Couple of different things that we could do here. On the one hand, we could play Breton Conjurer, use our Firebolt to make the 5/5 guard. But then that doesn't guarantee that we're clearing this out. The other option is we could play Queen Baronzaya, which would give this guard. Then again, there's no guarantee it gets rid of this, but then it gives us the option for Queen Baronzaya to attack back into it. So I think that's ultimately what I want to do here.
Da da dee da.
We need to also, in my opinion, develop the drain ourselves, just to kind of make them deal with our drain while we're stuck dealing with theirs. This does still leave our Breton Conjurer play in place as well. Now, if you're wondering, Lazaro went field because I didn't want that to gain guard, though I could have played Queen and then played Luzra. But since Luzra's not naturally big enough to hit any of these, and I would have to top deck something to trigger her, I just felt like having the additional presence here made more sense. If she traded with like literally anything naturally over here, she would have ended up Shadow, but we would have to commit to like playing Quartermaster and or Satanine, and then buffing her and then trading, and I don't think that's the way I want to use those cards at the moment either. Whereas right now, Satanine on Queen represents a pretty big swing in health back in our favor, as long as we can deal with the hand anyway. Okay. So they have Belligerent, but they're probably trying to figure out which one they wanted to get rid of. They're going that route.
Won't hear your screams.
Alright, so the Wardcrafter, solid pickup for us.
Careful there, friend.
So, if our opponent runs Unstoppable Rage, just so we're clear here, like, we just lose. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can gain at least 6, or we could gain as much as 10 with this trade. But if I only gain 6, I can also Breton Conjurer and Self Firebolt.
La-da-dee-da-da!
Which I think I just prefer.
I'll get this yet!
Must I do everything myself?
Elements are mine to control.
I think this is the way that I want to go. It's a very good Belligerent Giant for our opponent. And again, if they have Unstoppable Rage, then we just lose. So, might just be moot. Not a lot we could do. At this stage, I don't think that it's proper to play around Rage to that level, to that effect. I think they were really hoping that was going to land on the 4-3. But this does mean at least that the pawnbroker trades with the queen.
None of theirs.
So they get some benefit there.
Even the gods won't hear your screams.
It's a very good Cradle Crush for them.
We see you waking, and
This is a very good Awakened Dreamer. And we are back to being on defense.
la-da-dee-da-da! I'll get this yet!
I have you now.
We're going to push what we can. We're going to slap down this. Shackle the biggest body that we can.
Blade in my boot.
And then just hope. Hope and pray. So, you know, some combination of like Cliff Racer and Lightning Bolt and things like that can certainly finish us
Keep
off
your
here.
distance.
So this is going to be an Earthbound on this, and if they've got the Cliff Racer, and let's be honest, they always do, this will be over. I don't think our prophecy count is high enough to save us here, considering we've already seen multiple harpies.
Even the gods won't hear your screams. Join us.
I mean, I really feel like this is going to just simply be too little too late. We needed that on a previous rune. This will be a harpy coming down. We could have put that in hand, but we've got, I think, plenty on board to finish this off. Yeah, there's the Cliff Racer, as I stated it would be. Sometimes I don't like being right, but when you're right, you're right. So that's it for this video. That's 2 disappointing games. They were both nail biters, in my opinion. I think that we were certainly in both games. We just didn't catch the breaks we needed. And as I said, sometimes that just happens. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.